Alright, welcome back. This week, as you can see on the bench, a load of parts have turned up, which is really good. There's so much. I mean, a couple of bits obviously you've seen, they previously arrived, that was the first part. But a lot of parts have now arrived, so really pleased. So, first thing, I'm going to go through, have a look, see what's turned up. Obviously I had made it was quite a large shopping list. Some of it's come through in sort of drips and drabs, and the bulk of it, as I say, has just arrived. I'd say probably 70–80% of this is OE, so it does take time. There's still a few more bits to come through, and then obviously I'm ordering parts as and when, as I get to jobs and etc. But I'll give you a look of what's arrived. One thing that did come through, this is from eBay. If you remember when I was stripping the carbs, this actual plunger unit was broken. And I had to pull it out with pliers in the end because it was so seized. So this is a second-hand unit. So that's come off eBay. Right, I've just laid it out loosely at the moment, so I'll try and separate it up. So, got a new brake lever. Obviously the piston had previously arrived. Brake pads. Again, master cylinder had already arrived. Right, in here, again, these are all brake parts. If you remember on the bracket, the rubbers had fallen apart, so I've got the rubber O-rings and the replacement rubber covers, bleed nipple cover. And apparently there's a spacer in there. So that is effectively all the the caliper. That's all the caliper parts. Master cylinder and lever. Right, in there is the indicator stems. The ones I had have basically had it. They're the rubbers that fit on the end that go into the headlight bracket and obviously the frame at the back. These are the replacement clips that hold the clutch cable onto the frame. Again, a lot of the parts I've noticed are actually missing or corroded, rusted. Right, some of these parts have turned up. This is for the headstock. So you've got the locking nut, the washer. I'm still waiting for the actual new yoke bolt, the top one, and the dust cover. Right, these are the rubber washers and caps. Let's pull that out. That are actually on the headlight bracket. So when it fits onto the forks, I'm still waiting for the actual headlight brackets themselves that slide over the actual fork stanchions, and the replacements for these. As you can see, these are very rusted. So there's replacement ones of these coming and the actual headlight bracket covers. A lot of engine parts, circlips, the actual rubber sort of solid mounts that go in the cam chain guides, because they'd obviously disintegrated and fallen apart. Looks like a, yep, that's the main thermostat one. Obviously 2 of the engine bolts that the head slides over. I can't get the nuts off the end, so I've ordered replacements. Wheel bearing kit. These are the parts for these. I think that's a speedo drive, tacho drive into the engine, because that was, well, I ended up ripping that out. Cam end plugs, headstock bearing kit, the actual rubbers that fit inside the sleeves at the bottom of the head, of the barrels I should say, new collets, and oh crikey, literally engine seals, crank seals, new screws, all engine parts. Let's see what else is in here. More engine screws. Oil filter bolt and carburetor kits. So a big selection. Oh, and last of all, quite surprised I actually managed to find one of these. The actual warning light console with backing plate. And screws. Because as you remember, my one had a repair. So new part, old part to come off. So a great abundance of parts, which means we can really crack on, or I can crack on with getting some more of these done. But I'll clear this out of the way and show you what's coming up today. Right, so a couple of bits I need to start looking at and basically getting stripped down and ready for paint and cleaned up. Obviously I've got the bottom yoke that needs to be cleaned and prepped ready for paint. I've also got the brake splitter. I need to get this out because it seems to have been in there sometime and it's quite seized. Strip that down, clean it, and then get that ready for paint. And also the clutch bracket. Again, the lever, as you can see, the lever's had it, but that all needs to come apart, clean it up and get that ready for paint. I will leave a link in the description below to where I got the parts, because I've had some questions. Quite a few people are obviously doing Z650 rebuilds. Parts are out there but hard to find sometimes. So I've had a couple of people say, where did you get this from, where did you get that from? As I responded to a gentleman the other day, I'm sorry I can't remember your actual name, he was asking about the actual forks, where did I get the seals and the washers and bushes and etc. As I said to him, about 80% of probably what I get comes from Wemoto.com. There's a link in the description. They are local to me, I've used them for absolutely years, The website is easy to use. I use it, as I say, a lot. They can get OE parts if you've got the OE part number and it's still available. They'll try and source it for you. I also use Z Power. Again, link in the description. Really helpful. They've got, as I say, they are Z Power. They've got everything as much as physically possible. A lot of reproduction parts for Zs, so very helpful. The actual little set that I bought, that was the rubber washers and the 2 metal sleeves that fit over the headlight bracket. They were from Z Power. Other parts I use, obviously, sometimes if I'll go direct for OE, so I use dealers, etc. But I'd say Z Power and Wemoto on this project are the main ones I use. So link in the description. Go and have a look, check them out. Really helpful. They'll get the parts in. They'll ship out some of the parts. If bits are arriving as and when, they'll ship out what they can. So at least it gets you going. While the other parts are waiting, I say I've been waiting for engine parts for some time. It does take a while, OE parts. So as I say, OE parts are filtering through. A lot have come through, and there's still a few more bits to go. So I'm still waiting. I'm going to crack on with the frame. Again, behind the scenes, I need to get the back end rubbed down. I need to reprime in a few areas, just check out a few imperfections, etc. And then that will go to paint. So that painting will be coming up hopefully very soon. It's like the heater is actually working in here nicely. It's taken the chill out. I can actually paint. Obviously I've got to prepare it in advance, get out here, clear an area, get the heater working, leave it for an hour or two. It warms up nicely. So as I say, the heater's been on for a while, so I can start on these parts. I also need to go back through the 2 boxes that I showed you some time ago when I was sorting out. There's still some odd bits and pieces missing. Following on from the last episode, obviously with the paint, I did behind the scenes give it another coat. It needed it. I'll probably get questions because I didn't actually say it in the video, but the caliper was actually done with high temperature paint. The rest was done with tough black, but I omitted to mention that, so apologies. But I say that's had another coat. Everything else has had another coat, and it's still drying. So hopefully by the next episode I'll be able to show you that, and hopefully we should be able to start reassembling some of the bits that we've actually painted, the clocks, the caliper, the master cylinder, etc., with the parts we've actually now received. So enough chat, let's crack on. Alright, so let's start getting these pieces stripped down, cleaned up. I've got the ultrasonic cleaner warming up at the moment. So you can see all the dirt and grime that's in there. That needs to come out. See if I can get this out. If not, it'll have to stay. Top yokes and the handlebar clamps have already been done with Scotch-Brite. So let's get apart this clutch perch. Lever's no good, it's fit for the bin. Should be able to clean that adjuster up. That will clean up as well. say with the brake splitter, it just won't move. So I'll put it in the cleaner and see what happens. So I'll give this a clean up. Give it a bit of a Scotch-Brite as well. So join me again when that's done. Alright, so the parts have just finished in the ultrasonic cleaner. So I'm just going to wash them off in cold water, and then I'll put them on the bench and see how they've come out. They've had about 20 minutes in there so far, so I'll see how they go. Alright, so these haven't come out too bad. I'm going to give these a quick going over under the wire wheel and then Scotch-Brite. While I've been waiting for that, I've actually given the bottom yoke a clean up, clean the shaft. So that's come up okay. So I'm just going to put these under the wire wheel, then Scotch-Brite, and get these prepped and get these ready for primer. Right, so these are cleaned up nice. All I've got to do now is prep these ready for paint. So it's masking tape. Obviously cover the shaft. Any bits I don't want paint on. Obviously I don't want paint in there or in there. And this bit will have to be taped, it just won't come off. So that's the next job. Right, I've left the hole in the side so I can actually suspend that with a bungee cord. Right, so next step, ready for paint. So again, same as we've done before, a light dusting for the first coat and then a heavier second. Leave about 10-15 minutes between each coat. Right, so that's about it for this episode. I'm going to leave that primer to dry. Hopefully by the time you join me next time I would have already got the top coat on, but we'll see how time goes and see if I can get out here maybe for an hour or something during the week. Depends on the temperatures. At the moment the garage is basically full of drying paint, so it's I've got bits hanging from everywhere. The main aim that I want to get to is to be in a place where hopefully I'll soon be getting back on the frame, like I said in an earlier episode. There's a few areas I need to rub down and reprime in a few places, and then top coat. Obviously I'll probably show you the top coat. I won't show you all of it because it is quite a tedious, laborious, long-winded thing. The main aim I want to do is I actually want to get the front end mocked up. So that's why I've been working a lot more on the front end while I was waiting for parts to turn up. A lot of parts are turned up, so I can then start getting back to, the engine especially. But as I say, I want to try and get the front end mocked up. I've got a few parts still to come, the headlight brackets that I said. I'm still waiting for those, so I can't really put the front end back together until I've got those. Obviously they slide over the forks. Episodes coming up, obviously when the caliper is dry, it will be the caliper rebuild. I'm going to split these into individual videos like I did the disassembly, just so if people are following it, they just want to see a certain video, they don't have to trawl through a complete video to watch whatever bits they want. So it will be a complete video on the brake caliper reassembly, a complete video on the master cylinder reassembly, and a complete video on the clock reassembly. And then, as I say, I've got the headstock races to get out of the existing frame, because obviously there's new ones in the new kit, so I need to get them out, get that painted, and then I can start mocking up the front ends, seeing how things look. I still need to go through some of the parts to see what I have and haven't got, and then I can order accordingly. So as I say, that's about it for now. I've just got to wait for paint to dry, which is going to take a while, so I'm just going to leave it out here, let it dry, and hopefully by the time we come back, as I said, it should be okay. Then we get top coat on the bits we've just primed, and then can start working on the bits that we've already top coated and start reassembling those. So as usual, subscribe button bottom right hand corner, so please like and subscribe. It is important to me, it is important to my channel. The channel is growing daily, which is phenomenal. The comments are coming in, again, keep them coming. I do to respond to as many as I can, if not all of them. It does take me a little bit of time sometimes, but I do get there. Links to other videos top left and top right, and join me again next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.